Delighted to be joined by Joseph Parker ahead of this huge fight just 2 days away at Wembley Stadium between Tyson Fury and Dillian Whyte. And Joseph, you've been a massive part of the build-up this week with Tyson. How are you feeling pretty much 48 hours away from one of the biggest fights in British history?
How am I feeling? I'm feeling relaxed. I'm chilling out, having fun, and enjoying the whole process, and enjoying the whole fight week, the press conference, the weigh-in tomorrow. Want to enjoy the fight day. I'm keeping busy doing a few things here and there, but I think overall the feeling within the team is relaxed and calm because he's put in the work.
What did you make of the press conference yesterday? Because we weren't quite sure what to expect. We'd not heard anything from Dillian for a long time, but in the end there was so much respect between both camps, I thought.
I think it's great. I think it's great to see the respect between both fighters, and it comes down to knowing each other and the history they've had as sparring together and working together. And it was going to kick off, but Tyson was able to control the situation. And it's great to see. It's great to see respect within the fighters, and the teams.
Where were you at that point when it looked like it would potentially come to a head between John Fury and Dillian Whyte?
I was getting close to John. Listen, everyone was just there. And if it kicked off, I probably would have ruined the press conference, and they wouldn't have been able to have the face-off on the in the middle of the arena. So I think overall it was great that they showed respect, but they still know that there's a job to do on Saturday, and they're still going to go out there and give it everything they have and bash each other.
Talk me through being in Morecambe. It looks like there's an incredible spirit there between everybody that comes into camp. There's a real team spirit there, a real camaraderie. What has it been like? Because Tyson had the press conference we spoke a few weeks ago, then you had a total media blackout where it was just you guys training, working hard, enjoying yourself. Give us some insight into that camp.
The camp has been a long camp. It's been, Tyson and I have been training for the last 15 weeks, and you got likes of David Naika, you got then John and Tommy and Isaac Lowe and the whole team. And so training has been hard but fun. He's put in the work, but he's been able to enjoy himself. He's been, very strict on his eating and resting, and so I think overall he's in, Tyson's in great shape. And you've heard it from him, that he's fighting fit, healthy, and strong, and there's no injuries, so he's ready to go.
He's been speaking this week saying it's the homecoming, but it's also the farewell. Do you get the impression that this will be his final fight? Do you think he's playing with us a bit, or do you think that's honestly what he believes at this moment in time?
I think in this moment in time that he believes this is his last fight, and whatever he does, his brothers, his dad, his family will support him. I'll support him as a friend. He's done everything there is in boxing. He's won all the belts. He's undefeated, and he's got this homecoming. And this is a big fight for Dillian as well. Dillian is from this area, so even though it's a homecoming for Tyson, it's a big fight for Dillian. And 95,000 people is going to be crazy. Give
me some insight into what it's like to take on Dillian Whyte. It was an incredible fight that you had at the O2 with Dillian back in 2018. Yeah. What is it like to share a ring with him? Because I think he was the first fighter who ever put you down in the ring.
Yeah. Dillian Whyte is a handful. He's game. He's tough. He's strong. He never gives up. In the fight, I started off very well. Got knocked down by a headbutt in the second round, and he knocked me down with a clean left hook in the 9th round. Then I was able to knock him down in the 12th round, so it went back and forth.
And if there was 30 seconds left of that fight, then you might have stopped him.
Listen, if it was back in the day and it was 15-round fights, it would have been different. But we're given 12 rounds, and he won on the day. Fair play to him. Yeah, I reckon if we did have another fight, I'll beat him. I believe in myself that much that if we had a rematch, I'll beat him. But that was his day, and he was, even though in the ring, when I was getting the upper hand, I could always feel him coming back. Like he would never stop or never give up. And that's a positive thing about Dillian Whyte, is that going into this fight, he backs himself 100% with anyone that he fights, and he believes deep down that he's going to win, and it's dangerous.
What do you think Dillian's got left? Because he had that war with you. When you look at the 23 rounds that he had with Derek Chisora, it was just relentless. And he's taken on every challenge. He's taken on the likes of yourself, Oscar Rivas, again, Derek twice. Do you think that he still has a lot left in the tank? And the Povetkin rematch he had, he comprehensively dealt with the rematch. But you do wonder what that knockout he suffered in the first round, what effect that has had.
Yeah, that's knockdowns and knockouts can affect you very badly. but we haven't really seen much of Dillian Whyte lately. You know, he's been hiding away in his training camp in Portugal, training hard, putting in the work. So, you know what's going to be interesting is the weigh-in tomorrow to see what kind of shape he's going to be in. And he's got a great team behind him, you know, his coach. I'm not sure what kind of game plan they're going to come up with. And I've seen that they've had some good sparring partners in camp. So I think he's still got a lot to give.
In terms of that left hook that Dillian possesses, a lot of people suggest that is going to be his only opportunity of victory. Just how hard is it when you are faced with it flush in the face?
It's very hard because it knocked me down. Dillian, you know, everyone's saying that he's only got a left hook, counter left hook. But with his Povetkin fight, we saw that he used his overhand right at times and did, you know, catch Povetkin very well with it. And he's got other weapons that he does possess that, you know, people are forgetting about. So he's still got a lot of weapons that he can choose and pick what he wants to use at the right time.
With Tyson, it's been an incredible journey inside and outside of the ring, and we look at some of the troubles he's had in his life, he's overcome, and he's been such an advocate for mental health, which I think will be his legacy perhaps. You look at the trilogy he had with Deontay Wilder. Yeah. How much do you think that has taken out of him? When you see him in the gym, do you think that has affected him, or do you think he is still perhaps as fresh as he's ever been, because now he really is focusing so much, as you say, in the nutrition, the sleeping, making sure he's living the right life?
It can have an effect on you. All these knockdowns, wars, going toe-to-toe, throwing combinations, you know, throwing it at each other. But from what I've seen, from my own opinion and from what I've seen, Tyson's in great shape. And it doesn't look like it has affected him at all. He's done a lot of rounds of sparring and he's looked great doing it. He's done a lot of strength work, great pad work with Sugar Hill, you know, on the bag, pushing and shoving it around like it's his opponent. He's looking strong. So for me, and from what I've seen, he's still got a lot to give and he's very fresh and ready to go.
And we've spoken time and time again, and you've spoken about how you think it will be a Tyson Fury knockout, potentially quite early. Based on being in the bubble this week at Wembley, has anything changed your mind at all?
No, I don't. You know, from anything that I've seen this week, I don't have any changes in my mind that Tyson's going to knock him out. I strongly believe that.
And when do you think it will happen? Because before you said it could be quite early. Others suggest it may be a little bit later. He wears Dillian down and he picks him off, or do you think it could be in the opening few moments?
Listen, it could be early, it could be late, it could be in the middle. I'm not quite sure, but you know, I'll pick towards the middle of the fight. I believe you know, with his height and reach and size, that he can tie Dillian down and get him out of there. But it's going to be an accumulation of punches and shoving around and pushing. I don't know what, you know, Tyson, depends on what him and Sugar Hill come in with, what game plan. He can come in with a game plan, then all of a sudden change to something else. He's very unpredictable.
What do you think is the only way, or what way can Dillian win this fight? Does he have to take Tyson out? Can Tyson be taken out? Because he's been put down in his career, but he's always got back up.
Anyone can be taken out at any time with the right punch, at the right time, in the right spot. But Dillian, I think Dillian has to put on him. You know, Tyson's a very smart fighter. Very, very smart.
Let's quickly talk about Anthony Joshua. It looks like a rematch will be happening with Alexander Usyk in July. It's such a big moment for him in his career. You think defeat is unthinkable at this stage. Do you think that he will find a way to beat Alexander Usyk, or do you see it being a repeat of what happened last September?
I see it being a similar fight, but the great thing is that you've seen Joshua make changes in his training team and his approach, and hopefully those changes do help him in the rematch. You know, he's done it before where he's lost the fight to Ruiz and come back and beat him, and he can do the same thing. It's just a matter of, you know, coming down how you feel. Whoever feels better on the night and executes their plan, that's the person that's going to win.
And let's talk about you, because we spoke it in fight week ahead of the fight against Derek Chisora, and you were so keen to make sure you made a statement, which you did in the ring that night. You couldn't quite get him out of there, but somehow Derek kept going. But what is next for you? Have you been disappointed that you've not been able to build on that momentum straight away? It's April now, and you've not got fight news just yet.
You know, the hardest thing about boxing is making fights happen. That is the hardest thing. You know, you can train all you want, look good in the fight, And then you think, okay, now it's my chance to lock in another fight. Can't wait for it. And you keep waiting, you keep waiting, you keep waiting, and I'm still waiting. And we've been negotiating with Joe Joyce and his team, but it's just taking so long. We're still waiting for them to come back with the contract being marked up so we can make some changes, all agree on it, and be happy and move on. So at the moment now, my manager David Higgins is speaking to a few other promotional companies to see what we can do and see what the best deal on the fight is, because this is just taking so long.
So Joe Joyce would be the ideal next opponent, but if it gets too long, then you're going to have to look at alternatives.
Yeah, we're looking at alternatives at the moment, but the priority is trying to lock in the Joe Joyce fight, because we believe it's a great fight. We believe that Joe Joyce is a great challenge. Chin, engine, just keeps coming forward. Granite chin. I'd love to challenge myself against someone like him, but let's make it happen. Come on, Frank.
Where and when will that fight happen?
Anywhere. I think hopefully soon. I've been training like a maniac. I want to get in there and fight. I want to get, and I'm sure he's been training hard too. So let's get the contract done, Frank. Let's get it on.